worship you. Oh, holy. Good morning to Alexandra. Hallelujah. Good morning, guys. How y'all doing? Oh, my praise. Where should it go to? Who else but God? Who else but God? Oh, God, who has blessed me. Oh, God, God. Good morning, Facebook. How y'all doing? Hey, YouTube. Hey, everybody. Good morning. 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 Who else is gonna be there for you? Woohoo! Listen, guys. Even when you by yourself, you're not alone. Even when you think you all by yourself, you think ain't nobody's backing you, nobody's standing beside you. Let me assure you that somebody is by your side. If it ain't nothing but our God, he is always by your side. You are never alone. No matter what you think, no matter how you feel, no matter what you're going through, no matter what happened this weekend, no matter what happened last week, no matter what happened this morning, no matter what's going on right now, you are not alone in your situation. Good morning. My name is Mesha Lee, and I'm your host of Morning MOJA. Good morning, everybody. Listen, I want to go ahead and drop this in. We have a guest. Hopefully she can make it through. Erica Kareem from Healing the Black Family. And this was the inspiration to for the topic today. Even when you think you by yourself, you're not. Even when you think you by yourself, you're not. One of the things that I've learned, one of the things that I learned when it comes to having self-confidence and believing in yourself and recognizing that you have what it takes to get to where you're going, or you have what it takes to get over your situation, is being able to have somebody to have your back. It doesn't always feel good to be in a space where it's just you, and it's a lot of times, especially for those of us that are business owners, that we feel exactly that way. Password. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second, guys. So oftentimes we feel like that we can't make it alone, or we started out with somebody, and the people that we start out with, they drop off. They drop off for a number of reasons. Let me give you a few reasons they might drop off. They drop off because they don't see the vision. They drop off because they don't understand what's going on. They drop off because they feel like, well, I'm not going to get anything out of this. And people will leave you standing high and dry without what you need to do the things that you need. And listen, it's never convenient. It's never going to be a convenient time when somebody walk away and leave you by yourself. Good morning, Mr. Pastor Freddie, Bishop Freddie Burns. Good morning. Good morning. So here's the thing. The one thing I need you to understand when it comes to feeling like you by yourself, or you walking by yourself, or you standing on your own, is make sure that you understand this. It's never going to be convenient. Nothing that happens in the midst of your situation. And listen, I got to tell you guys, for the last 3, almost 4 weeks, it seemed like I've been just bombarded with situations that I most certainly didn't expect to come up. And those situations have put me in a place where I'm like, man, I how could I have planned for that? How could I have thought for that? But some things happen to you, you don't have no control over. Some things that you deal with, you absolutely have no control over, and it's something that is beyond you. But you have to understand that even when stuff like that happen, for me, it was difficult for me because I was used to always having all my kids around, having somebody always around. And when you get used to having people around like that, when things happen, you got somebody you can run to and talk to, or you got somebody you can say, oh my gosh, you seen what happened? Yeah. Even if the whole world don't know, you can get that one person who understands what it is that you're going through. And you can say, oh, well, yeah, you get what happened. You know, mom and them did this or grandma. It ain't always like that. Life is not set up for us to be convenient. It's not set up to be a convenience store. Nobody's going to come knocking at your door and say, oh, you need to go get this person to have your back. You need to go get this person to stand by you. Because sometimes people are being under attack and they under attack on their own. And so it ain't that they don't want to be there for you. Then this is number one. It's not that they don't want to be there for you. They too busy trying to be there for themselves. You are never alone in a situation, even though you think you might be. Even when people that you used to standing beside you, always being there for you, coming through for you, can't come through. Sometimes they don't come through, not because they don't want to, because they're too busy trying to come through on their own. Anybody that required anything extra out of me over the last 3 weeks did not get it. Not even my children. They didn't get it. They didn't get it. Why? Because I was too busy trying to put out fires in my own soul, in my own life, in my own space that I'm dealing with. And guess what? Sometimes when it comes to your children, you have to let them grow up. You can't keep being Captain Saber Dad, Captain Saber Mom. You can't keep doing it. At some point, they have to learn that even when you're not available to them, that they need to know how to handle those things. You as a parent have to understand, or as a spouse, as a friend, as what a leader, you have to understand that it's going to be times that those people that you reach out to on a regular basis can't be there. And you cannot hold that against them. You cannot hold that against them, because you holding that against them is going to cause them to have issues, and it's going to cause them to be put in a situation that's going to compromise the long-term benefits and the long-term stability of your relationship. People have things going on. If somebody doesn't answer your call when you need them, if somebody don't pick up your text when you text them, stop thinking the worst of those people, because what happens is people have other things going on. Learn to be empathetic. And I would challenge you to even learn to be sympathetic. Because the moment that you learn to do those things, you'll start depending on the one thing that will always be there at your beck and call, and that's God. You have to listen, guys. Whether you're Christian or whatever you believe in, even if you don't believe, you have to have a connection with God, the supreme being, whatever your noun is for the universal force. You must have a connection with him. Her. You must, if you want her, whatever pronoun you want to put, him or her, you have to have a connection. If you don't have that connection, you will find yourself very quickly and easily slipping into depression, very quickly and easily slipping into places that you ain't never been into, very easily becoming pessimistic. Yes, people that become pessimistic oftentimes become that way because they feel like that nothing they've ever tried to do works, or that they have really given it a great try and they've really worked hard, and the way that they thought it should work, it didn't work out for them. You can become pessimistic. I've had to watch myself, because it's times that I've been in conversations and I've had thought patterns and I was like, man, I sound real pessimistic saying that. It's real easy to become pessimistic when you don't feel like you have what you need. And in order for you to have what you need, you have to understand that having that one connection with that supreme force, with God. I'm gonna say God because that's my noun. Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Adonai. I'll go down the list. That's who I connect with. You have to have that connection with God in order to understand that life is not centered around you. Your life centered around you because it's your life. But every individual, from your children to your spouse, to your partner, to your leader, to the people you work with, their lives is the center of their attention. The world revolves around them, just like your world revolves around you. And so what helps us to understand that we do have people with us and that stand with us is understanding this, the basic understanding that, listen, even though you didn't come through, I understand it has to be a reason that you didn't come through. Something is the turbulence of your world is been turned up. So maybe what you're going through is not as bad as what I'm going through. And I'm going to tell you, me as a person, I 100% am that person that can be going and doing the most and nobody would ever know it. Be going through and doing the most and nobody will ever know it. And that's 100%. So at the end of the day, you don't want to put yourself in a place where you start thinking, oh, nobody's there for me. I don't have anybody that'll hold me down. I don't have any friends. Oh, don't nobody care about me. Nobody's going to see. Once you get into that dialogue, you begin to self-defeat yourself. Because I always like to believe that for the most part, the majority of the people that you deal with want to see you succeed. Now, the world will tell you something else. Oh, the majority of people you deal with, they haters, they haters, they haters. Y'all know how I feel about that. I don't. When I look at people that they claim to be haters, I look at them as people that are fans, and they're frustrated because they don't understand how you've been able to do this, and they've been trying to do the same thing and can't do it. Those are potential partners. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna give y'all a story, and I want y'all to believe this. I knew a lady, and I'm not gonna call any names. I knew a lady, and for the most part, I didn't know why every chance that this lady got, or when this woman got, that as we were growing up, she always took shots at me, always took shots at me, always took shots at me. And when I grew up, I wasn't one of those girls who had a lot of self-esteem. I was very, very timid. I was quiet. I was in the back of the room. I mean, my mom was strict. Whole story. We'll talk about that on another day. I was not that person that was ever going to be that person that was going to stand out in front. And I definitely wasn't going to be that person that was going to agitate anybody to try to get anything else going on. I mean, for real, I was that one that ran from a fight. And my mom said, you did what? Get in the car. Let's go. Took me back down there to fight the girl. I come from there. I was forced to do that. If I was under arrest, I was under arrest. But truthfully, I never understood why she always took shots at me. It was, oh, your butt big, you got thunder thighs, you and your sister this. I mean, every chance she got, and my sister was a different situation. She was tough, but she was just as sensitive to me, but she was tough on the outside. Me, I'm crying, didn't even know what was going on. So all my life as a preteen, and as a teenager and going into being a young adult, I felt like this person really just did not like me. I didn't know why they didn't like me. Every chance I seen them, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. I'm like, oh, your hair look pretty, or you look nice. What always getting that feedback. And I walk away so defeated because I was like, why they always come at me like that? I'm trying to, and I would literally stress because I could not get her to understand that I like her and I want her to be my friend and not my enemy. And so for years, went through college, had 2 kids, and ended up having 3 kids, ended up getting married again, had more kids. And it wasn't until 10 years ago, I'm 51, 10 years, this is stuff that have happened my whole life. Every time when I would come in town and I said shit, and I heard people tell me that she said, I don't like her. I don't even know what I did. But it was up to 10 years ago when she had a situation with her hair. And she needed, and everybody kept telling her, you need to go to 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 her. And finally, she gave me a call. And she said, well, I want to know how much you charge because I ain't got a whole bunch of money and I need this done and I need that. I'm on the phone like, wow, this is my opportunity, to try to just, get her to like me. I'm 41. Don't judge me. That person, I wanted to still be a friend to her because I never could understand why she hated me so bad. I gave her a price. I told her what I could do. She's like, well, okay, I'll come. She didn't come for an appointment. She stood me up twice. That third time she ended up coming, but she came with her daughter. Her daughter's like, I've been trying to get my mama to come to you. I don't know what's wrong with her, why she won't come. The daughter don't even know what's the deal. Long story short, I end up getting the woman in my chair, talking to her and doing her hair. And you know what she said to me? She said, I see you doing good. She said, you and your sister had it going on your whole life. I'm like, what life she talking about? I'm like, who? Yeah, y'all mama always did this and y'all mama always did this and you was in the band. I remember when you went off to college and got married to that man. This woman knew my whole life. But my whole life had been the bane of her existence. Everything that I had lived, she said to me, she said, I always thought I'd leave from around here. I'm moving though. I'm moving next. As soon as I get my taxes, I'm moving. I can't stand being here. I went to school, but and it was just a progression of things that she had tried to do and things that she kept trying to do, but things didn't happen the way she wanted it. Situations happened with her kids and her daddy. She didn't have but one kid. She didn't even know that I had 5 children. She thought I just had the 2 that she knew about. She didn't even know the things that I went through. When I got finished with her and sharing my story, me and this woman just like this now. I said all that to say this to you, that the people that you sitting around here constantly throwing these memes up about your hater, your hater, your hater, your hater, oh, they this, they this, it's something about you that they not necessarily hate, but they desire, that they want to be a part of, that they don't understand. And to this day, I can call her and she will be there. And she tell me all the time, I'm so sorry. She said, but I just never knew what was really going on. You was always quiet in school, so I thought you was stuck up. I was quiet in school because I was scared of everybody. I was quiet in school because I realized that as long as I'm quiet, nobody would notice me and nobody would pick on me. You get what I'm saying? So the way that people interpret who you are is different from the way that you are presenting yourself. So be very, very careful with the people that you deal with, even when it comes to your haters, because you out here talking about, I ain't got nobody to stand for me. I'm all by myself. Nobody support me. Some of the people that you keep shunning are people that if you take time, pray about it, open up the door, might be the people that will be there for you, because people don't always understand what's going on in your life. So you're never alone. And at the end of the day, there are going to be times that physically, intellectually, emotionally, nobody else can be there for you. You got to learn how to get a prayer through with God. And prayer is just simply having a conversation with him. You got to be able to talk to him. It's going to be many, many nights that you're going to lay in your bed or in your car or outside, wherever it is that you're going through. It's just going to be you and him. And that's what he's waiting for, is a conversation. Open up your mouth. Stop thinking you got to be perfect, because ain't none of us got it together down here. From the pulpit all the way down to the person cleaning up the bathroom, all of us are esteemed the exact same when it comes to God. God don't love nobody more than he do the next. He's a God that loves us equally. The way that we love our children equally. I have 5 kids. None of them my favorite. Now, they'll tell a different story. They're all, the fingers start pointing all different ways, and that's her favorite. That's that. None of that. I love all my kids equally. And God is a much better parent than us. So at the end of the day, understand how much value you have and how important you are to him. And the moment that, and if you feel like you don't have value with him, it's simply because nobody has fully showed you and explained to you how much value you do have in him. Instagram, I'm so sorry that I left y'all out. I apologize for that. But at the end of the day, let me bring Erica Kareem in. Now, Erica Kareem is a friend of mine. I met Erica about 2 years ago, and I wanted to bring her on because, when we talk about standing together, when we talk about being together, when we talk about supporting each other, it's real important, especially in this day and time, starting this new decade, that we really understand how important it is for us to work together as a team. Erica, are you there? I see your name up, but I don't see your face. Are you there, Miss Erica Kareem? There she go. Good morning. Unmute yourself, sweetheart. Good morning.
How
We
are you?
can't hear you. Turn up your volume a little bit.
Uh-oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, your volume is very low though.
Okay. How are you this morning?
I'm well. How are you doing this morning?
I'm
Thank you
good.
so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, I hope you guys can hear her. I'm not sure. Um, Sometimes these devices give us a little challenge when it comes to making sure that it works the way that we want it to work. So Erica, we're at 100%. Are you on 100% over there?
I am. I am.
Okay.
Is it
Listen,
still
guys, this is
low?
why. Look, Erica, we got to get us some Yeti mics, huh? Can you hear me
Absolutely.
okay?
I can hear you very well.
Okay, great, great. So Erica, thank you again for coming this morning. I hope that you shared this to your page and to your audience to let them know that you are live over here on the Morning Moja Show. And we appreciate you. And guys, she is in Texas. She's in Dallas, Texas. So she is coming here with some serious commitment, because the time difference is real.
Okay.
The time difference is real. The East Coast, we're always the first to get up. So I always say that the most successful people come from the East Coast, because we early risers and we get the worms first. So listen, I want to introduce you to her, but I'm gonna let her introduce herself to you guys. Erica Cream is a friend that I met through a program that we both were in for a few years, building our businesses and such. with Danielle Winningham's company, and it was an amazing adventure. I mean, I'm still a part of the program. I really love her. She's an amazing coach. She's incredible when it comes, and she pulls so many things out of us. But the most important thing that I can tell you that she does is she know how to connect people with the right people. Incredible situation. So, Erica, I really appreciate you this morning coming on. And we talk quite often. We do a lot of business together. We do a lot of business together. And most of you might remember her from Blended Talks. We had a talk show for a few years on Friday evenings, and we are working. We kind of revamping it and recouping it for those of you that are our followers on Blended Talks. This was one of my co-hosts. Stephanie Footman was the other co-host, and we really had a great time doing it, didn't we, Erica? Did you really
Yeah.
enjoy that?
Yeah, it was absolutely fun. Absolutely.
So, Erica, tell the audience about yourself, who you are, where you're from, who you are, and how you even got started doing what you're doing.
So, I'm Erica Kareem, and I am the Executive Vice President of Healing the Black Family. And so, what we do is we help give African Americans opportunities to advance. And what I mean by advancing is first, you have to advance yourself. I'm a big believer of, taking responsibility, building, making yourself happy, so that you can go out and make your family happy or be a part of an amazing family and then learn to be a part of an amazing community. But I think everything starts with yourself first. And so that's what I do. I help people get find opportunities on financial literacy. The list goes on. I'm telling you, as African American people or people of humanity, period, we all have a crisis going on. We have a lot going on. We're suffering. We're in depression. We're eating bad. No, we don't exercise. Our health is going down, and the answers are the question is, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to just sit back and not do anything? Or are we going to wake up, stand together in unity and come together and just put some things in motion that'll help better ourselves? So that's what I stand for is and I always tell people that I'm pro black, but I'm not anti any other color. I always have to say that because I am for our people. However, I am anti other people and our people's character as well. Because I always say, you know what, you can have a bad black person, right? As just as you can have a bad white person or an Asian person or a Mexican person. So it's not the color that I'm focused on because we're supposed to serve humanity. I am just anti people's character.
I agree. I think sometimes we get so focused on the race. And let's be very clear, racism exists. To me, just as prevalent, but people, it's one of those things that's a hidden agenda now.
Yeah.
Once you learn how to wear a waist trainer, you know how to put that thing on and make yourself look skinnier than you really are. You get what I'm
Hmm.
saying? They
Absolutely.
just learn how to put a waist trainer on it, and it definitely matters. However, I think the character of a person matters too. We have to be very clear that we're not that we're pro-black. Being pro-black means we have our priorities in order, and it's a huge difference. So, Erica, what is it that made you start healing the black family, which is something that whenever I first met her, um, it was healing the black family, and I've been on board for over 2 years. I am a huge supporter of healing the black families because I think that at the end of the day, there's a lot of healing that has to happen in our communities in order for us to flourish the way we want to flourish. Because oftentimes we have, well, I think that for the most part, we have been put in positions that we've had to be self healers. We were put in positions where we were forced to do things that we didn't want to do, and we weren't given any tools to help us. And then whenever the change came, there was no tools to help us understand what we had been through. We have been a very, very, very traumatized group of people. And although I don't believe that trauma is inherited, I think it's inherited by parents passing it on to children, because a sick person is very difficult for a sick person to raise a person that's not sick.
So let me tell you why I started healing the Black family. It's two things that really was ticking me off, and it still upsets me till today. Number one is when people go to the churches and they go to these religious organizations, in some way, we're carrying a whole bunch of baggage. We have wounds that are piled up to the sky, right? It's just we're in pain. Well, when we go to church on Sunday, or me, I'm Muslim, when I go to the masjid on Fridays, at some point we are getting a band-aid on a big cancer that we have, right? We have, and the band-aid is that word for the day, right? And the cancer is all the baggage, just all of our experiences, and they're not getting deep into how to help us as a community. And they say it, and then I guess people just not getting it. And it's so emotional on Sunday morning. People are crying and they're getting their quick fix, and then by Tuesday or Wednesday they're cussing people out. They've got family issues still going on. And I'll say a lot of people don't agree with me, okay? But this is the reason why I started healing the Black family. The other reason is because I've seen so many Caucasian people that are counselors and social workers, and we I'm like, how do we heal, and we're putting our lives back into the hands of the oppressor, right? And who taught those counselors? The oppressor. Now, I'm not saying that they can't help us. What I'm saying is, to get to the deep part of the wounds that African Americans come from, we have got to step up and help each other. That's my point. So I'm not saying that they can't help us, but they got their people. And I feel like that we should go get help from a people that look like us. So that's why I started healing the Black family, because we need to heal, we need to unite, and it's very, very important that we understand each other and love each other, because that's what comes first, is love and taking responsibility and effective communication. So I think all of that is so important.
Well, let me say this. Now, I'm a Christian and I go to church on Sundays. And for me personally, when I go to church, it's just a place that I can go to where, like believers, and we can release our frustrations. And I think that whether the abuse and things that our race has suffered, whether it was dealt with or not, I think it's just human nature to deal with things on a regular basis. And then by Wednesdays, I mean, life, like I said, over the last 3 weeks, man, I've been getting hit left and right. I think life in general will come at a expedient rate sometimes, and it can be very overwhelming. So, I'm very hopeful that the tools that we have won't necessarily be whether, I mean, and I do understand what you're saying, getting help from people that are like us. Because one of the issues that we have in the beauty industry is that when it comes to dermatological conditions, a lot of the dermatological conditions that people deal with, they don't tell you that it has anything to do with the melanin in your skin, but it has a lot to do with, of course, your DNA, what your melanin will and won't do. I mean, it does matter. I mean, it absolutely matters. But I feel like that more than just a race, you want to get help from somebody who truly wants to help you, who truly understands that you need help. I think for me, that's the biggest barrier, is that, you know, in our community, in the African community, it would be very great for us to come together and bring our resources together and begin to heal our family, because I do believe that there are people that are self-healers and there are people who are not self-healers. And I
Mhm.
think the people that are self-healers and understand how to, move forward, should reach back and help people who can't as easily heal themselves. So you got some comments over there? I'm looking for comments too. But anyway, so you started it because you just felt like there was a lack, that we needed more support. And I absolutely 100% agree that for our children need to see more people that look like them. Our dark skinned, our black, our African American, our melanated children need to see melanated people in positions and doing things to give them hope, so that we can somehow wiggle ourselves from over this oppressive spirit that still rests over this country. So, where do we start with this? Where do we start with this healing the process, Erica?
Well, I firmly believe that we have to start with ourselves. Again, I'll say it over and over again. You can't go help your family if you got all these issues going on yourself. You can't put the blame on your spouse, or you can't put the blame on how your kids turned out in some cases if you didn't do everything in your power to get yourself together. And so we walk around and we say, I love you, I love you, I love you, but do you really love me? And do you really even love yourself? People don't even know how to love. And you can't give people, um if somebody wasn't loved or felt loved when they were younger, then it's really hard for them to give out the they can only give what they know, right? And so sometimes what they know is just not good enough. What they know really hurts people. What people figure see as love, sometimes it can really put a wounds on other people. I read a meme that you can really bleed on people, even though that you say that you love them. So I think what I think the first part is just learning how to love, not just say it, but to be about it, and that means the agape love, of unconditional love, of the just try your best to love according to how God say, without any judgment, and I believe unity, understanding that everybody have a story, understanding that everybody's been through something and continues to go through something. So I'm in 100% agreement when you say we continue to go through things. It's a never ending cycle. It's like, in order for you to elevate, it's always something that God is going to put us through. And I love that you said some of us are self healers, because at the end of the day, a lot of us are not, right? A ton of us are not self healers. And so that's how we go into depression. That's how we go into giving up hope. That's how we go into comparing ourselves with other people. Oh, well, she is already at the top. How do I get there? Not knowing that she may have had to go through a huge amount of struggle, a huge amount of agitation to get there, but she's arrived, right? And so we have to learn to just be the best that we can be better than we was yesterday. I think that's so important. So that's the first step.
I totally agree with you. Being able to connect with one another on a deeper level than just the, oh, you have what I don't have, or you're better than me. Man, that's a huge hurdle though. That's a huge hurdle, because a lot of us, unfortunately, because we grew up in places, or we grew up in situations where we didn't have, where our parents didn't have, where they had to struggle and grow through so much. It's very hard not to identify your success with things and not valuing people over the things. And
Mm-hmm.
when you value things and money and power over people, it's very difficult to get people that put those things as a priority to look at you as a natural human being, because they don't see value in relationships. One of the things that I said in 2020 is that wealth for me, of course, wealth is finances, being able to do what you want to do, but to me, real wealth is relationships. Those
Mm.
relationships that you can nurture and help are far more valuable than the financial resources that you will ever have. So I appreciate that. So how do we start this? How do we start this healing process, Erica?
So I just want to say that I want people to know that the unseen is more powerful than the seen.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is the spiritual aspect of life, the connection that you have with your higher power is so
Mm-hmm.
extremely important, right? The When people go and meditate and be still, that's a true statement. Be still, so allow God to put that download in you, right? Or just not do everything according to how you see fit, because God is the best knower. And so I think that is first thing is first is make sure that you are, before you can repair anything, it is how well are you communicating with your higher power is so extremely important. And then the next thing is, and I have a pet peeve about this, but the next thing is take responsibility for where you are in your life. Take responsibility for your thoughts. Take responsibility for your actions and your behaviors, because everything doesn't deserve a response, and everything does not deserve a non response, right? A lot of people are avoiders. Stop avoiding conversations. Some things, some conversations absolutely need to be had to move yourself forward, to move your family forward. And I just want to say this, that our children are watching us, so
Mm-hmm.
that when you don't do right, you are instilling in your child this petty behavior, this nonsense behavior, this behavior of non communication, ineffective communication, two different things, right? Either you don't communicate, or when you do communicate, you don't know how. And so all of those things are huge in the development of yourself. And again, you can only work on yourself first. Go ahead, Misha. I see you over there. About to
Yes, because listen, I want to know, we're talking about healing the black family. So how is healing the black family any different from healing any other family, from Caucasian family, the Mexican family, the Korean family, the Japanese family, the Italian family, the Grecian family? How is healing the black family different from healing a Holocaust family, a Jewish family? How is healing the black family different from any other process? Because we're all humans. You rip the skin off our bodies. If we rip the skin off our bodies, all of us look identical. The only thing that might tell the difference is our accent. So if you take our accents away, if you take our tonalities away and make all of us sound the same, make all our voices sound the same, if you take all the skin off our bodies, take our nails off and our weaves off, and all you have is your skeletal body covered with muscles, how still is it different to go through a process of healing for the black family versus any other family?
I think, well, to answer that question, I think that it's very, very important that we go back to slavery days, and we dissect, well, what happened in those days, because those behaviors are still existing today. And so when we realize that our grandparents and great grandparents has these certain behaviors, we have to start unpeeling the onion, right? Unpeeling the layers of what we're going to keep and what we refuse to get rid of, and what we absolutely have to um keep, right? Or you know what I'm saying, what we have to keep and what we just have to get rid of. Like they're saying, what goes on in this house stays in this house. We have got to make sure that we get rid of that. Like we have got to make sure that we get rid of the silence and the our voicelessness. We have got to make sure that that we're leading in love and unity. And I've, I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't studied what the how they get rid of theirs. I can only focus on how we get rid of ours. How Healing the Black Family gets rid of ours, and it just starts with self healing and unpeeling those layers of your childhood and removing the angry barriers, removing the unforgiveness. And I think it may be all the same. I don't know, but we have got to make sure that we go back to our origin. I think that's very important.
Well, now I will tell you what I believe. I think that that is different because you have to look at and a lot of people don't. Oh, why do we always have to go back to slavery? Because that's ground zero.
That
It's
is
just
ground
like
zero.
trying to, unless if you're trying to cure a virus, they have to go to patient zero or they have to go to ground zero to say where did this come from. So you're never going to be able to erase um going to the slavery card, and you're never going to be able to erase the black card because that's just a part of who we are. It's a part of our DNA, period, point blank. And
Mhm.
so I think that we have to begin this process in our community, and meaning our community as the African American or Black community, um, through understanding the effects of slavery. Because I think, to be honest with you, Erica, I would say that not only do African Americans need to go through a healing process, I think our enslavers, our captors, they need to go through a healing process. They've been very crafty in being able to kind of mush away. Oh, we just don't do that no more. That was wrong. We forgive them. Oh, y'all forgive us. We were just so wrong. We were so wrong. Okay, that's cool. But you need to be healed. There has to be a healing process on both sides. And I feel like when you, for instance, when you think about slavery, one of the after effects that I think we still see to this day is from the indentured servitude. You had people who were, well, first of all, they were slaves. And then once they were free, they signed these contracts where they were part owners of the plantation and this, that, and other. Now you're in indentured servitude. So you still enslaved, but now it's on paper. And
Right.
now you business part in your slavery. And so now you have children who refuse to be enslaved by any rules of this land. So you have a lot of rebellion. You have a lot of, I don't like the law, or the pigs or whatever. I think that comes from a lot of that. You have a lot of people who are very self-defensive, especially our African American sisters, because we have gone through a lot, and
Mhm.
we deal with a lot from every aspect, even our own race. And
Yep.
so the attitudes that you think you're looking at are not necessarily attitudes. It's just being self-defensive. I mean, you're not. How do we stand up for ourselves if we don't have people to join with us and stand up, especially as African American mothers,
Yep.
sisters, daughters? And you also have a delineation from Healing the Black Family with healing mother-daughter relationships.
Yep.
I think all that is a spinoff from just having to always have a servanthood mentality, or having a subset that, I can do this, but I can't do that. That's what I grew up in. I remember, I tell the story all the time. I remember being in like the third grade and the teacher saying, okay, we're gonna see what you're gonna be when you grow up. Innocent little conversation she had with us. So the whole class and the school that I went to wasn't a lot of black kids. We were a very, very small minority group in that town, still is. But I remember sitting there thinking, Erica, that I didn't know what I wanted to be. I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was, wow, well, I can't be president because I'm a black woman and I'm black. And then I thought, and then the teacher walked by, and I guess she seen me struggling. She said, well, what do you want to be, Almisha? I said, maybe a doctor. She said, oh, you can't do that. She said, think maybe a nurse. This literally came out of this white woman's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
But again, at my age that I'm at now, I understand her mind needs to be healed because that's all she knew. There were
Yeah.
no black doctors that I had ever been exposed to, male or female. It was years before that town even brought in black doctors. Years. I'm talking about me being 30 years old. Like, so I think healing needs to go on both sides, but I think we can only be responsible for our one side. So I definitely appreciate your thoughts on it. And guys, listen, if you have any comments that you want to make, put them in so we can read your comments out with everybody because we appreciate you joining. And make sure you share this page, this on your page. Thank you so much. Melissa says, no difference. We're all equally important and beautiful. Melissa, I'm going to ask you not to comment. Sorry. I mean, this is one of, see, here we go. Here we go. This is not us saying that nobody else is unimportant. Okay. This is
See,
talking about healing the black African American family. And if you happen to have married into this family, if you've been raised by people in this family, I appreciate you, but it's most certainly not the same. But I appreciate you know I'm telling you, my family is like a rainbow. My sister is mixed, I get it, but it still is a difference. Okay, so Melissa has a question. Let's jump into this Q&A right quick. Melissa says, honest, I'm 38, a Gen Xer raised that everyone is equal because everyone is equal. Melissa, you was raised that way because, it's a lot easier to kind of babysit or kind of be passively over the damage that's been done to a people that's so egregious. I mean, when you've done such a horrible thing to a group of people systematically and in every way and continue to do that, the one thing, the propaganda that they would have to put out there is that everybody is equal. You have to embed that seed so that it will diffuse and disarm people who honestly, we wake up every morning feeling the egregious nature of what has happened to us, feeling the oppression. We wake up feeling it. It ain't that we want to. We wake up, it's there, it exists. But in order to make me feel like I'm being extra, you need to be taught, everybody needs to be taught, oh, we're all equal. It's not saying, this is not about equality. It is not equal. Anybody that would get online and try to say that every African American person on this planet or in this particular part, this nation has been given an equal advantage. I mean, you obviously, I would seriously challenge you to do just a little bit more reading. And so then she goes on to say, why do we need healing? Well, Melissa, I'm not sure, honey. I'm not trying to sound honey, you don't sound indignant, but please don't take that away. I'm finna educate you. Melissa, I'm looking at your last name. And not to be stereotypical, I would imagine that you come from a Spanish descent, maybe you were born here. I'm not sure. You will have to clarify that. Sis, I love you, but if you have to ask why African American families need to be healed, that right there speaks volumes. I mean, it speaks volumes. I would strongly recommend that you go to the public library and pick up a copy of African American history. Pick up a copy of go look online. I'm gonna tell you something that'll really educate you. Go to YouTube and type in hidden colors. Watch that entire series and inbox me when you get done. And I'm gonna bring you online once we have a conversation and bring you online and let you explain to us what you learned about healing the Black family. That would be a great start. I really appreciate your question, Melissa. See, this is what we need. I like a question because she asked me, she said, I'm not trying to sound indignant. She said, I don't understand. Help me understand. And see, that's part of the problem right now is
see,
that we have a whole generation of Gen Xers who were raised in the 60s, in the 60s and 70s, in the 50s. who may or may not have witnessed the racism. I mean, you can go back and just look at us being hosed down and dogs put on us. I mean, it's
Yeah.
they totally miss that because they were in schools and in places that told them, oh well, black people, they just want more. They're lazy. They want somebody to give them something.
Mhm.
Hell, this country wouldn't exist if it wasn't for our forefathers. I
That's
can't ignore the contributions that my great 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 grandfather put to this country, my great great grandmother put to this country.
yeah.
I can't. Um, I know. I mean, why myself need healing. I'm sorry if it wasn't clear. Okay, Melissa, are you an African American woman? I'm just curious. So we can't ignore that. But society wants us to glaze. Oh, well, that's so old. But let me tell you something on here. And I'm gonna get off here because I'll stay on this subject all day long. Let me tell you something. They quickly want you to forget what we went through with when the civil rights movement came. They quickly want you to forget what happened during slavery. But they teach you every single year in your children American history all the way back to George Washington. They don't never want you to forget about that. They teach you stuff all the way back about the pilgrims coming over here and finding something. What was needed to be found? This is why the Native Americans now have their own reservations because they were done wrong. That manifest destiny was bullshit. They tricked them, stole their land. What nothing lost over here. No, y'all came over here and stole. Y'all think they are the biggest thieves. Came over here and stole this country from a whole nother group of people.
Yeah.
We had African American, we had African American explorers that had been to the United States before the pilgrims got here. So it's a lot of stuff in history that they don't want you to know
Mhm.
because it messes with the little crystal white stuff that we were taught in school.
And
Erica, jump in here, girl, because I'll stay
well,
stuck
I
on
also
that.
wanted to say that they intentionally took it out of the history books. Oh, and now it is his story to us. So, like you said, they're trying to wipe it clean, wipe it where they are not taking any responsibility of what they've done and what they continue to do. And so I can't even imagine any African American woman saying what healing do she need. I
But
can't
see,
even I can't even imagine any woman saying what healing do she need, because at the end of the day, nobody's perfect and we all want advancement, right? We all want to elevate. But again, I can only speak, and I'm only willing to speak about the African American community, because that's what I'm here for, and
well,
about
I
how we are getting shot and killed unarmed in the middle of the street, and how our school systems are so poorly ran, and how they're only teaching our children for the test. They're not teaching them any life skills, and how they are building jails for our kids starting at third grade. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and how they're genetically modifying our foods. I mean, everything, how they're injecting the poisons in our foods, and how they're putting the I'm gonna go there, how they're almost every show, well, at least 85% of our shows have gay and lesbians on there now. They're just everything that they do. Stop looking at me like that, Misha. I've been knowing you for 2 years now. But I mean, it's everything that they do, and we as a people are accepting it because we don't know where we came from. We don't know who we are. We don't know our origin. We don't know our natural way of being as African American melanin people, and that's a problem.
so let me jump in here, and I am going to interject this. When it comes to people being gay or lesbian, I think now this is me personally. I feel like that's not fair because what a person's sexual preference is does not make them who they are.
Okay, but listen to
I
this.
mean,
Hold
listen.
on. I do what you do. I don't care. I'm not judging. But what I am judging is that you interjecting it in our kids' cartoons. That's not okay. You're interjecting it in almost all the shows. I mean, can we have some clean shows? So, what a person's sexual preferences, do what you do, okay? Do what you freaking want to do. But some people want to stay clean. Some people want to stay pure. Some people want to stay and don't, I mean, some people just don't want to see that stuff. We're trying to raise our children right.
So, but wouldn't that put you into a different? Now we came on here talking about healing the black family, and we,
Oh boy.
talking about racism. But wouldn't that be a type of stereotypical racism? I mean, you got to think about this. When you know, I have grandchildren, I have 3 young grandkids, and I don't think that when I look at cartoons, because believe it or not, I still love cartoons. I think that when it comes to, and we're not going to stay on this topic because this is a very sensitive topic, but just to kind of even the playing field, I think that when you think about um, gay or lesbianism, or whatever the alternative sex choices are being interjected into our cartoons, I don't think that it's trying to manipulate the mind of the children. I think it's trying to help them understand that this does exist, and that people are different from you, and that even though people, because I look at cartoons, and one thing that I have noticed is that they have a lot of cartoons where the cartoon characters have features like animals, they have different colors, they look very different. Back when we were growing up, they were the Barbie and Ken, but now characters actually are not really appealing to the eye, but they have amazing characteristics, they have amazing powers. And I always look at that as, you know, us being responsive to trying to help our children understand that people are different, and not to judge them by their skin color or by something that they hold very personal to them and dear to them, like their preferred choice of mate or their preferred choice sexually. And we definitely could go on and on with that, but that's just my thoughts on that. And I think that even when it goes back to healing the black family, whether a person is transgender, homosexual, lesbian, bi, and I do not know all the proper pronouns, whatever pronoun they choose, if their skin is still black, they're still going to be treated with the same
Absolutely.
disposition. So I think
Absolutely.
that
But I just want to say that um everybody has an opinion, and those people that run the shows, they have an agenda. And so whether we know what the agenda or not is, because we're not them, they're still putting it in our children's face and not get and a lot of times not giving us choices. So I mean it's
So
just
Fran Young said something very powerful, Eric. I want to share this with you. She said it's up to us to educate our children, family, community, Black history. My son came home from school during Black History Month, tired of hearing the same old, same old. I'd have him read I had him read an article once a week and tell me about it. They go online and play games, etc. Teach them to use it to educate themselves. Teach one each one teach one. And I totally agree with Fran. My kids, I have like a little library, and I went out and I extensively sought um, articles, books written by Black historians who would tell us the full delineation of where we come from, that would give me every point of view, so that I could take all those point of views and make an educated choice. Because at the end of the day, the same history that they teach in children, they taught me over 45 years ago in school. So that indoctrination of the religion that the United States want us to stay stuck in is still being taught in these schools. And if we don't take time, and if we don't take time, and if we don't take time as parents and as a group to step out and say, okay, this is what you got in school. That's the cleaned up wash version. Let me tell you about this. I think that's any race. I think that's any race. I think that if you're Hispanic, it's your responsibility to teach your Hispanic children your heritage, where you come from, because the books that they're teaching in America, they're not going to give them that history. If you're of Asian descent, it's your responsibility, and they are very big on history, and they're very big on that in the Asian community, teaching your children the rituals and things that you need to know from your Asian descendants. And I think that's what helps them pull together. Erica, I really have enjoyed you. Every time we get together, we're going to agree to disagree on something, guys. But that's why we've been able to stay friends for so long, is that we don't see things from eye to eye, but we understand and respect each other's exchange of information. Erica, so tell us, how can anybody connect with you, help you grow? Because I know that you had launched something that I'm a part of, so that we can reach each and every state. Thank you, Melissa, for that comment. That we can reach each and every state with this initiative to heal the Black family. And for those of you that are watching and those of you that will watch on the back, I know that this is a long, much longer production. You can fast forward it, but right here at the end, we're going to drop the link. I'm going to put the link in the bio. Erica, tell people, when can they connect with you, and what do you have going on that they can be a part of?
So right now I have a tour going on and a 2 day healing the Black woman inside workshop. It's a 2 day event here in Dallas, March 20th and 21st. It's so very important, you all. If you know that you need healing and you know that your life is spiraling out of control, you're disappointed, you're angry, you're just walking around. You know, a lot of times we uh master pretending to be happy. We put on the makeup, we're smiling, but in those deep dark nights where people can't see us, we're crying and we're shedding tears and we're stressed and we're overwhelmed and we're worried, right? And so you need some healing, you need help. And so you can go to healingtheblackwomaninside.com, healingtheblackwomaninside.com. And so we're also doing a tour. So you'll see the tour button on what cities that are near you that you may can get to. It's so very important, y'all, to get your healing. And no one is going to come save you. You must save yourself. I'll repeat that again. No one is going to come save you. No one is going to come knocking at your door. You have got to raise your hand and say, you know what? I need help. I need help for myself. I need help for my children. I need help to be a better sister, a better friend, and you need to elevate your life. So again, go to healingtheblackwomaninside.com, and I hope to see you there. Again, you just have to say yes to yourself. And you can also reach me on all social media at Erica Kareem. I'm everywhere at Erica Kareem.
And that was healingtheblackwomaninside.com, right?
Yes, healingtheblackwomaninside.com.
All right, guys. Erica, thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, thank you. We have had an amazing turnout. Thank you for your comments. Listen, if you listen to this broadcast after it's posted or during one of our watch parties, make sure you go ahead and post some comments. We'll go back and read them and we'll dialogue with you. And this is, of course, this is me, Mesha Lee. This is a Morning Moja show. Tomorrow is Motivational Mondays. Motivation Tuesdays. So make sure you join me in the morning at 7:30 a.m. right here for our little shot of motivation. And if you want to be seen or be a part or interviewed right here on the Morning Moja Show, go to themeshalee.com and click Morning Moja Show. Put in your name and tell me a little bit about your story. We'll read about it and we'll put you in the pool to be selected to be one of our featured guests on Mondays. Erica, again, thank you so much. I'm going to let you drop that link one more time, and give them a couple of dates on which your events. I think you said one was March the 20th through the 21st. Give them the location, tickets. And for those who can't travel to Dallas, how can they also be a part of the event?
So you would have to travel to Dallas, or I will be traveling to you, a city near you. And then you can also email me at support@healingtheblackfamily.com. Support@healingtheblackfamily.com. If you don't see your city on the list or nearby, then in the fall, we're adding cities. If you
Okay,
can wait
great.
that long. If you
And
can
what was
wait
that?
that
What was that .com again? Healing the Black Woman.
healingtheblackwomaninside.com, healingtheblackwomaninside.com.
I love that name. Thank you so much, Erica. Guys, thank you for joining. Make sure you share this to your page. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.